Welcome to the module called Mindset for Approaching Orgasms. The goal of this module is to give you a healthy mindset on how to approach orgasms so you can be as successful as possible. This is an area where some men might screw up in approaching the orgasm in the first place, which will lead to a disaster later. So I want to make sure and talk about this first so that you approach all of this with the right mindset. The truth of the matter is every single woman who's healthy is capable of full body orgasms, multiple full body orgasms. But sadly, very few will actually reach this potential. And the reason is very few people have this information, have the understanding and knowledge on how to give a woman an orgasm. That's both men and women. A lot of women don't know that they're even capable of these things. Many women who can orgasm will masturbate and they think that they're only capable of one orgasm, and that would be usually like one clitoral orgasm, but they're capable of so much more. So what I want to do in this program is help you understand how to bring that out of her in the correct way without intimidating her and without creating mental blocks so that you can be as successful as possible. I want you to understand that giving a woman orgasm requires guiding both her body and her mind in order to achieve orgasm. And hopefully, after you've gone through this entire course, you'll understand how the orgasm works so you can have a lifetime of experimentation. You can take what you learn here and you can continue to improve and experiment, because every single woman that you try these things with is going to be different. And that's a good thing, because then we can understand what she likes. This is going to help you understand what she likes, and so that you can take those things and give her multiple orgasms. All right, so let's talk about the correct way to approach a woman about orgasms. First, I want to say anytime you're going to go down on a woman, perform oral sex, or use the fingering techniques that I talk about here, it should always be something that you're doing with her and not for her. She should never feel like you're doing this as a way to get to sex. She should really be able to feel that you really enjoy experiencing these things with her and that it turns you on, because this is going to allow her to get outside of her head and get outside of her mental blocks. If she feels like this is something you're doing to her or for her, she's never going to let herself go fully. So always make her feel as if you're doing this with her and it's something that you guys are experiencing together to get to know what she likes and to make her feel good. Now this concept's a little bit counterintuitive, but her goal should not ever be the orgasm. As a man, your goal should be to give her multiple orgasms. But you should never approach her and say, oh, I have these great new techniques and I want to try them on you and see if you orgasm, because this is going to create a mental block for her. If you already have a girlfriend or wife and you take these concepts that you learn here, just go ahead and go and introduce them to her. Tell her that nothing would turn you on more than to be close to her and feel her and get to know what she likes. Never approach her and say, oh my God, I have these great tips, let's see if we can make you squirt. You know, that's gonna create a mental block, because then in her mind there's so much pressure on her to orgasm that it's gonna actually have the opposite effect. She's not gonna be able to get there. So her goal should never be to orgasm. She should just experience the orgasms through you. Now, if you're watching this with a girlfriend or wife or someone you care about, then that's fine. She's going to understand that concept, hopefully, by listening to this. But make sure that you don't put the pressure on her to orgasm, because that's going to keep her from getting there and create a mental block. And another thing too is we're going to be talking about clitoral orgasms, G-spot orgasms, deep spot orgasms, and every woman's different. Every single woman is going to respond differently to these touches. And your goal with every woman that you apply these concepts to is to get to know what she likes and get to understand what she responds to. Every woman, I can't even tell you how different every woman can be, but they're all capable of the same thing. It's just some are gonna like different things. Some might not even like G-spot, but like deep spot. You know, some might require both clitoral and G-spot stimulation together to have a massive orgasm. Some might need to let go of clitoral stimulation altogether to even train themselves to have vaginal orgasms. Every single woman is going to be different. So it's important that you understand that and not get frustrated if you're not able to just automatically give her every type of orgasm that we talk about in this, throughout this entire seminar we're doing right here. So keep that in mind. That's how you need to approach how you give her the orgasm. So let's talk about starting out with giving orgasms. Now, of course, our end goal is to give her an orgasm during sex, and hopefully multiple orgasms every time that you have sex. But first you need to get her used to this type of stimulation and used to feeling that way, and train her how to have an orgasm. She should learn to orgasm through you. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna teach you how to do this with your fingers, your mouth, with oral and fingering techniques, so that you can come in direct contact with the different areas in her body to be able to stimulate them. And then after she's learned what that feels like, then she's gonna be able to orgasm during sex. And a lot of times when we talk about multiple orgasms, you know, what could be better than to take the time to give her maybe a clitoral and G-spot orgasm before you even begin sex, so she's already multi-orgasmic, and then once you start sex, she should be able to just come time after time after time, and you could give her a whole bunch of orgasms during sex if you just take the time to do these things beforehand. Now, a lot of the girls that I've been with, as they get to learn these things, they're gonna just want sex automatically. So, I mean, I guess that's good, because, you know, over time, I'm not saying you should take less time to give her an orgasm ahead of time. A lot of times that's all it will take after a while, is just to give her sex, and she will want you more. Once she learns what it feels like to orgasm, I mean, she'll be very, or she'll want sex quite often, maybe even more than you do. So keep that in mind. It's a progression, but it always gets better with time. It always gets better as you get to know the girl's body, and as she begins to let go with her mind. It's going to be different from a one-night stand to a long relationship. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a one-night stand. It's just a woman, over time, as she gets to know you, her mind will let go, and she will learn to trust you and learn to let go. The art of orgasming is all about letting go and getting outside of the mind. So as she gets to know you, it's gonna just get better, and she'll be able to let herself go. So keep that in mind too. If you know, do not get frustrated if this doesn't happen right away. You always wanna make sure you enjoy the journey to success, not just be after the outcome of just the orgasm. Make sure that you're enjoying the closest experiences of your life with whoever you're sharing this stuff with. And I promise you, if you approach it this way, it's going to be so much more effective. In getting to know her body, communication is everything. Communication is the key. Now, make sure that you're open enough to be able to ask her what she likes. Maybe not necessarily during the time of arousal while you're arousing her. You know, you can kind of ask her what she likes, but afterwards, maybe to be like, did you like it when I did this, or do you prefer this? Don't be afraid to ask her what she likes and what she doesn't like. And for the women watching this, make sure that you're open with your man and be able to tell him what you do like and what you don't like, so that he can approach you the best that he can. So remember that communication is absolutely, absolutely key in being successful with orgasms. All right, now you should have the correct mindset that you need to have and understand how to approach orgasms to be successful. Now let's get into the meat of this course, and let's move on to the next module.